So this is what we chose to do. We were there for very many years, and had experiences that I'm going to write in my book. I'm writing a book about my life and my experience because of the incredible, wonderful people that have passed through it, starting from my father's age and going up through my children and their present outreaches. We didn't have support, but because we lost ourselves in the great burning of the Bronx, which, trust me, was not done by the people who lived there. And the reason I know that is when our store burned down, we didn't have heat in the building, so we couldn't have burned it down. There was no heat in the building.
Wow.
And we didn't have heaters. We were called on the phone and told, your store is burning. How? How did that happen? So we knew the abandonment of the houses and all of the really bad things that were said about the Bronx really weren't true. We understood that. But we moved on. We moved into a little further uptown, which I call the Upper South Bronx, in what was known as Twin Parks. And we set out to really pay very close attention to raising our children. In that process, and this is something I urge all of the young people who are raising children to do, in that process, you absolutely must establish yourself as the first and most important teacher of your children. That is a must-do. And the reason that I say that is because it earns you a certain amount of respect in the teaching community. I know my late son, Malik Sealy, who went to a preschool. When we went to visit on Parents' Day, the teacher said to me, I'm so happy to meet you and your husband, the most important people in the world. I think he was 4 or 5 years old when that happened. Because that's how you establish. You are the most important person in the world to your children. Remember, and this is one of the things I heard Malcolm say personally, though he did not, as far as I know, he did not originate it. The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. So here you have these marvelous children, and at that stage, though Rose was somewhat older than my children at that point, she could have been my child. Here you have these people who are going to show you the rest of the world. And for me, that's exactly what happened. My children, who were always encouraged to move around the community, we had the great good fortune of never having to say to my children, do not play with this one or that one, the other one. We didn't see the whole issue of who was better. We didn't consider race and color on that level. We had a large Spanish-speaking community in Fort Apache, and it still exists there. They were as supportive as anybody from any country that you can think of south of Florida, including Florida. So we had this feeling of being part of the community. So our activism included being in the schools, attending all the parents' associations, working to get IS 147 open, which is where my children attended, IS 166, which my children attended. We were involved. As time went on, and your children develop, my children develop what I call their own personalities and their own posses, which meant that each individual child that we tried to encourage in his individuality went on and made friends, and one of them turned out to be a marvelous tailor, and that was Des, and one of them turned out to be a very quiet and focused leader, and that was my son Sidney. And then there was Amir, who was always making everybody get along, and in fact his 3rd grade teacher shook my hand and said to me, I've never seen a child who could stand up and get the class to calm down the way your son could. So they had their posses. And then ultimately, or later on, our NBA player son, Malik Sealy, he was very, very like his father. When the teacher said, when she would say, who's going to serve the soda? He would stand up, I will. Very, very focused. And then ultimately, my baby daughter, Rakiba Lila, who pulled up the rear and had a wonderful sibling relationship with her brother Malik. But again, imagine having 5 of personal children, and all the children lived in Twin Parks. Imagine what they brought me in my life experience at this point. A life that I could never have dreamed of or thought about, that I did not focus on. I did not focus on trying to get anyone in or out of the NBA. It was not even a process. For what? And in fact, it was my son Sidney who told me he could actually play ball. I said, yes, I know he can dance and sing too. He said, no, Ma, he can really play ball. Oh, okay. Because your children are your treasure. They're your treasure. They're what's going to eventually bring you all.
Yeah.
So our lives continued along lines of play out. Now it's for me to watch them and see what they're going to do, to give them wings and let them fly.
Thank you.
And I believe it was Rose who sent me that on a little paper.
I did.
It was Rose.
But I'm getting emotional because every time I think about you, you're like the mother I didn't have to inspire me because of the way she was raised and the space that she was in. But I understand it.
No question.
But the clip that we showed, the inserts, everybody comes in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. I see you as a lifetime.
Okay, that's good.
And I have a special gift for you that, yes.
Oh my goodness, Rose forever. For the real Rose. Oh, wait, okay, let me.
The base.
Okay, the base. Okay, wait. A rose from, roses from a rose. Roses from a rose.
And
Because you. Roses from a rose.
Here you have a crystal that I charge with my energy, so now you can recharge it with yours.
Oh, all right.
And I went out my way to find this vase that says, thank you. So every time you look at this, you're going to remember me.
I remember you more times than when I look at that. If anybody would doubt how beautiful it is to have all these young people around me, getting it done, you could just think of how I must feel to have this brilliant young lady thank me for anything. Thank me for anything. She's shown me parts of the world that I would not have tried to see. She's gone on to do things that didn't occur to me, and then invited me in.
Well, it didn't occur to me either. You got me on a journey that I didn't know where I was going.
We're all on a journey.
Yeah, but it's good.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good. It's good. As I said, I'm writing a book. There are parts of my life that I don't even believe. I've met people, Rose included, that have so broadened my life and so put me in places and spaces that have made me grow in ways that are just enormously empowering at my age and stage. And yes, you can be empowered at this age and stage. Only a book could explain my life experience. One of the marvelous and unusual things about my life, and this is the only discernment that I could give to my late son Malik, though he's not by any means the total focus of my life, is that he interrupted me, or so my daughter said, so I could get a rest, and so he could manifest for me the time he was here, along with my other children, a specific kind of experience. And as a result, it has brought, I'd say, a different kind of attention to me. And whenever it does, and people start with the NBA, I always say, you don't have a clue of what my life has been and what it's like. Starting in Chatham County, North Carolina, with my great-grandmother and that bag of laundry on her head, single parent, raising what eventually turned out to be 11 children, 9 of which were hers.
Wow.
You don't have a clue of the joy that parenting has brought me. And though I may be listed as designer, fashion designer, the most important thing that I've done in my life, in my opinion, is be a mother and a parent and a grandmother. And it's, so Rose is not the only one who gets emotional about this. If there's a specific thing that you think that your viewers would like to know about, I'll be happy to talk about it, but it's all been pretty special. Is there a specific thing?
I think you covered it all. Yeah. You are my greatest inspiration. And we are at the end, so you have any closing remarks?
Well, I thank Rose for giving me this opportunity to talk to all of you about my great love for community and the people who have supported me and continue to support me, and those young people like Rose, like my children, like the children of many of the people who grew up in my second fam, which was 2000 Valentine Avenue. I thank you so much for bringing the world to me. We can keep our energy and we can go on, but you bring us back the world. And I promise you, parents, I promise you, they will bring it back in ways that you cannot even dream of.
Thank you. The God in me greets the God in you.
Yes, sweetie.